Now, how does the communication is taking place in the layering scheme or the reference models, TCP/IP or the ISO OSI? Let us take a very general example. So if you see here, there are 3 layers. This is one philosopher. On the other side, there is another philosopher. These philosophers, because they are on the same layer, they are peers, they are friends. They want to talk. But one of the philosopher, he can only speak Urdu and English. The other one, he only knows Chinese and French. So there is no common language between them. So they will engage a translator or they will hire a translator. Now these 2 translators of different philosophers, they are at layer 2. So they are peers because their whole work is translation. Now each translator will also have a secretary. They will hire a secretary who will be actually sending the data. Now philosopher 1 wants to send a message. For example, he wants to send I like rabbits. Orictolagus caniculus, rabbit. Now he wants to just send I like rabbits. This has to go to philosopher 2. How does it happen? He will pass a message because he knows only English and Urdu, so he'll write in English and it will send it across this 2-3 interface, layer 2-3 interface to his translator. That is I like rabbits. Now the translators at level 2 or peer 2, they have already decided that we will be talking in the Dutch language. Their language spoken in Netherlands, the Holland. So they change the message into some Ikwind, Conigen, Leok like this. I may not be pronouncing it perfectly, but this is what they finally decide and they write, change. Now this choice of language is totally dependent on protocol 2 layer. They can define Hindi, they can define say any other language. Now, because they have converted it to the Dutch, now they give it to the translator, is giving it to the secretary. The secretary is sending it. Now these level 1 secretary from both the sides, they have agreed upon that they will be sending it using fax. They would have decided they will send it by say email or phone. So when the message arrives at the other secretary, because there is a proper bits transmission level. Now the secretary on the other side, philosopher 2 side, the message it gets, now it will be changed. It will be given to the translator from layer, because the philosopher has to get either in say Chinese or French. So it is the work of the translator to convert this into French. Then only this French language can be given, because the Dutch has to be converted into French. So the conversation, you can see that various parties are agreeing upon certain facts. And then finally the communication is taking place. Each protocol is independent of another, only the interfaces are changed. For example, the layer 2, they are translating. They can change it into Finnish. They can change it into say Hebrew or Arabic. It doesn't matter. Because finally, it is layer 2 to decide what language they choose. Okay. Now coming to the first layer, the secretaries, they will decide we don't want to send it by fax, we'll send it by email or telephone. So this is the agreed upon protocol between them. This is how the communication happens, and I like rabbit is transferred to philosopher 2. Now I'll show you the actual conversation, how it happens in the scenario of network protocol layering, ISO-OSI layer or the TCP/IP. So here we have 5 layers, 5-layer network. Now the first layer, or the topmost layer of the left hand side, you can say the machine 1. It is sending a message called M. There is a message. Now this message, it will be sent to layer 4 of that protocol layer. So now the message at level 4, the layer 4 will add a header, say H4. So it will contain the addresses where it has to go, the sequence number if the packets are divided, all these. Okay. Now this will be sent to layer 3. Now layer 3, we have because there may be limitation on layer 3 that this is not the size, this is the shorter size you can send. So layer 3 will divide this message M into M1 and M2, and it will add its own header H3. So M1 and M2 will have header. See, the earlier header was placed by level 4 to the actual message. So now at layer 3 there is message already which is divided into M1 and M2. So the divided part M1 will have the H4 header from layer 4, and one more header will be added for layer 3. And now it comes to layer 2, it will again add some header and trailer. H2 is the header and there will be trailer, same for message 1 and message 2. Now this will be sent to the physical machine or the communication path. And when it goes, there will be stripping off, trimming will go on. When it goes from layer 1 to layer 2 to layer 3, the layer 2 header work is done. So here H2 will be removed. When it goes from layer 3 to layer 4, layer 3 has already done with the header 3. So header 3 will be removed. There will be only header 4 remained, and finally there will be combination of message M, and then it will be finally delivered to the actual layer 5 protocol peering machines. So the lower part or lower layer of protocol or lower protocols, they are normally implemented in hardware or firmware. So when you open the mobile, you see that some message will come initial to your opening. That is the firmware I'm talking.